Hello everyone, for this episode I'll be playing Haven Aggro, and I'm pretty happy today because I realized that actually I don't need to whisper in all these videos. Maybe the other time it didn't work because outside and like my own house was so noisy, and then they were trying to pick up and then they're trying to even up all the volumes that they picked up, like my phone picked up. So yeah, I mean, I'm feeling much more comfortable to speak at the usual volume that I speak to people. I feel more natural and I feel that I can speak more fluently. So yes, this is a great day. And for this episode, I'll be showing you guys a deck that I found online by a guy called Amano. I'll probably leave his channel down in the description below because I can't pronounce his whole name. It's like in kanji and stuff. I believe it's Amano Satoshi. Yeah, so I kind of like copied his deck, so I don't want to get all the credit. The only difference is that maybe I put White Tiger and he didn't, because I figured that this deck loses out a lot against the other aggro. I sometimes face a lot of problems against aggro Swordcraft, aggro Bloodcraft, which is still very common in this expansion. So I put White Tiger simply because it's a very solid ward. Number one, it's a 3/2 ward. A lot of cards will be destroyed because this is a very decent stat. Very good stat actually for a 3-cost card. And on top of that, it's a ward and can't be targeted by enemy spells and effects. So if you really want to defend yourself at the earlier going, this is the card that you want to have, because they have to sacrifice one of the followers, or even two if they are not. If let's say I'm playing against Bloodcraft and he has Blood Wolf, definitely at least one they have to sacrifice just to get through White Tiger, because there's no other way. So yeah, I put White Tiger, and in this expansion the one that you need to look out for is Jin, Beacon of Salvation. A really good card. This is basically kind of like Explosion, but with probably the better like 2 or 3 advantages. Number one, it's a follower, a 2/3 follower, a decent stat for a 3-cost card, or Enhance 7 obviously. 2/3 is pretty good, better than Explosion where you just use it one time and then it just disappears. So at least you have a follower. That's number one benefit. Number two is the fact that it deals 3 damage to all enemy just like Explosion, but it restores 3 defense to all other allied followers. So that's like 2 benefits in one go. Yeah, it's a really good card in this expansion. Is this a must-have? Sort of, because by the way, if you haven't seen, there's that infinite shape. That's basically the unlimited format for this game. And with that said, a lot of people still play D-Shift because D-Shift is only not available in the rotation format. So a lot of people might still play that route. They still have that Guardian Golem cards, and that becomes a 3/3 that sometimes gets really annoying to push through. Sometimes Shadowcraft still play Death's Breath, and that's a 2/3 ward, 3 of those. So having Jin, Beacon of Salvation, is really kind of like something that you want to have in your back pocket. And also with Portalcraft and all the hype, so far, like I said to my friend before, the biggest problem for me with Portalcraft is that they don't have a lot of cards that they can use so that they can play around a certain version or play around a certain style. They pretty much just stack up on the artifacts, and a lot of them, if not all of them, have defense less than 3. I believe everything except for Mystic Artifact. Yes, Mystic Artifact has 1 defense. Analyzing Artifact has 1 defense. Radiant and Ancient Artifact have 3 defense. Still, Jin will just wipe it off the map, and I've done it multiple times, and Portalcraft just looks really sad when that happens. So if you have it, great. If you don't have it, I suggest just craft 2. I don't think you need 3, because I know that sometimes your vials are really tight and you can't really spend on a lot of the legendaries. I understand, so just putting 2 in my opinion, so far it's enough. And if anything, I believe you still want to buy Chronogenesis because it's still in the first week, entering the second week of its release. So I think a lot of the people still want to buy the pack. You never know, you may pull another one, and that makes it 3. And if you have 3, that's good. It's just all about how you are wise in terms of spending your wealth. The next one is obviously Dark Jin, and it's pretty much a staple. It's been around for quite some time. I believe it's from the Tempest of the Gods expansion, if I'm not wrong. It's a good card as well. Deal 2 damage to all other followers, and you can use it as something to clear off the board, especially if you are at turn 6 and then you have this. A lot of the cards can get destroyed by Dark Jin, and if you can't chip off the last 2 damage, you usually will want to attack with Holy Falcon, I believe that's the name. Yes, Holy Falcon. Get them down to 2 or 1 and then use Dark Jin. So I guess I'm explaining too much at the start, but I think this is something that maybe I need to share really quickly because anyway, that's just my belief. I have my own reasons. Anyway, the next card that I feel is very important as well, and probably the one card that you will see in a lot of the decks. I think Jin also. But yeah, for Heavencroft is Heavenly Knight. Obviously in the rotation format there's another whole thing going on with Heavenly Knight with Summit Temple. But now in terms of rotation and in terms of not rotation, in unlimited format, Heavenly Knight is really a good card, because one of the biggest problems that I've been facing is that you have White Tiger, like I said earlier on, for the earlier aggression, but that is not really responsible for the later rounds. Heavenly Knight on the other hand helps to mitigate the damage. Biggest problem is that OTK Roachcraft gets really annoying if they manage, the moment you see that 5 cost card, and then if evolving it, and then he gets 0 cost Goblin Mage into his hand. And especially now, OTK is really annoying with the new legendary. I'm surprised a lot of people are not playing it. I don't play OTK basically because I'm just too annoyed sometimes to calculate in my head, and then usually when I play Shadowverse, I'll be doing something else. Like I'll watch YouTube, I'll watch Netflix, I'll listen to podcasts, so my mind is kind of like in 2 different places. So doing the math in OTK, it just takes up too much of my brain cells. And yeah, this right here will just cock block a lot of things, especially if you control their boards and then put it at the same time putting on the aggression, and then you drop this thing that basically kind of like ruins the whole tempo of OTK. And even if they use Dance of Death, if you manage to pressure the board really well, it is gonna cramp up their own tempo. Number one, like I said, the Dance of Death. And if you have a lot of followers that can attack them, that just spells doom for your opponent. And obviously Taurus the Great, way better version than Gilgamesh in my opinion. Obviously with this extra effect, whenever this follower attacks an enemy follower, deal X damage to the follower before it can deal any damage in return as equals to this follower's attack. So I guess that's about it. Everything else is pretty straightforward. I guess the best way to show it is just to play it. So yeah, I've been trying to figure out. I've been playing Vengeance as well. At the start of the expansion, I've been playing Lord Enemy because of Skull Ring, and I managed to pull Cerberus from Chronogenesis pack. So I was like just flaunting it. I was just so happy to get it because that's the first ever leader slash emblem slash slave slash, I don't even know what to call it. I know they have a label for it, but I can't remember. But yeah, I was just so happy that it sucks because Shadowcraft is my least played craft amongst all the 8. I mean, okay, with the exception of Portalcraft, so amongst the 7. But yeah, Havencroft, I've been climbing from about 1000 points, and the win rate is pretty damn high, unless when I'm sleepy and I'm just like playing for the sake of getting the treasure chest. So if you are lucky enough to pull Heavenly Knight, if you're lucky enough to pull Jin, come and play this deck, because other than that, I don't think you require a lot of gold card. Pegasus Dullahan, I forgot to mention to make like a shout out. It's a pretty good card, but you'll be surprised that there we go, speak of the devil. Whenever this follower comes into play, restore 2 defense to all other allied followers. But the one that is so broken in my opinion is the last word. Give a random allied count on amulets, last word, summon a Pegasus Dullahan. So it's basically kind of like a green centipede. You summon Pegasus Dullahan. If you control your count on amulets really well, you are basically just gonna stack on it, and then you're gonna be super damn annoying to your opponent. That's one thing. But I think above all else, Pegasus Dullahan that a lot of people overlook is his restore 2 defense to all other allied followers, because that is, for me, is the bigger factor in this one. Because you look at it and you're like, that's not a big deal, but man, you will realize just how much 2 defense actually make a difference. But also, I just love this card, but I go against putting 2. Actually, I tried putting 2 because I don't want to spend too much on Heavenly Knight and Jean, because they're really expensive. I know I got a lot. I actually have like 100,000 vials right now, but I kind of made a mistake in Starforged Legends because I was just like, was so happy. I was like, hey dude, I'm loaded as shit, and I was just spending all my vials on the cards, and then I make 3 of them from the get-go, and then I realized like, crap, there's still 3 months left where I'm gonna be buying this pack, you know, that I'm gonna be purchasing Starforged Legends. And then I realized like, well, I pulled 2 more. Like, I was like, I think I have I have 6 copies of Twilight Queen, because I wasn't thinking, and then that just makes me really sad, you know. You can call me cheap, you can call me whatever, but I would like to defend myself and say that, like I said, I'm just being wise with my vials, you know, calculating and like how much I can spend, how much I can't spend. So it is what it is. Maybe I should just turn on the aggression, because this guy isn't looking too good. But yeah, so I didn't really want to spend too much, and like I said, Jean and Heavenly Knight, I don't think for this deck you need 3 copies, so just 2 of it will be good. What else do I want to say? Is this a pretty brainless deck? No, actually it's not a pretty brainless deck. You think that every single aggro is brainless, but sometimes no. Maybe Sword aggro is probably the most brainless one, so you just need to drop, you're just making it rain every single time. But it's not the case for this one. Actually, aggro blood kind of needs a little bit of brain in my opinion, but this one you have to kind of sometimes think, because what is so annoying about unlimited compared to rotation format is the fact that you can't tell what kind of cards they might have in their decks, because in unlimited you still have a lot of different playstyles. For example, I might see a Havencraft, but that guy could be playing the old version of just Ilianos, and then summoning 8 there, and then summoning Tenko, or they can just go with a classic Guardian Sun. They can go with a with just Heavenly Aegis. So there's a lot of playstyle that you have to anticipate coming in. So that is pretty much like the only thing that you have to do. But I think the beautiful thing about this is that whichever you go, it's just like that, in a sense that if you want to play Pin and Prayer, you pretty much can't do much until turn 3, turn 4, when the countdown amulets begin to pop, and then that's where you decide, do I want to control the board? Do I just want to go face? Do I want to stack up more countdown amulets? There's a lot of... It allows you to kind of like take a step back. You know, I really love this playstyle where sometimes I'm like all over the place because there's a lot for me to say about this deck, and I love it. With Bloodcraft, I was playing Vengeance, but sometimes I can't tell whether I need to, like, especially against another, especially playing against another Bloodcraft, because you never know what kind of playstyle they're gonna go. They have so many cards that are kind of like the staples in that deck itself. You have Ambling Wraith at turn 1, you have Blood Wolf at turn 2, or Spiderweb Imp, and then at turn 3 you might have something else. But they all are staples, you know, unless maybe you see kind of like Vania. But even with Vania, sometimes you still see that they play Vengeance with Vania as well. So it's really confusing, especially when I'm playing aggro on this thing. Like, do I want to go face? Do I want to control the board? But with this deck, you can, like I said, you can take a step back, lean back, and then you look, just like boxing, right? You like Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't always hit. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes he knows what kind of style the opponent is going to go for, but if he doesn't know, he will take a step back, right? Kind of like in the Philly shell, he'll be looking around, dodging left and right, and then after he's like, okay, shit, I realize what he's doing, and then I know what I need to do to counter him. Then that's when he decides the next step, and then he will plan ahead from that foundation that he's confirmed. It's pretty much the same with Haven Storm, you know, not Storm, Haven aggro. And this is actually not that aggro itself. Actually, there's a lot of cards that can kind of like help you into the later half of the match, even until the late game, because you have Heavenly Knight, you have Jin, you have Dark Jin, you have Taurus, and that's actually a lot of cards. There's a lot more cards than you think. But like I said, some people still put Priest of the Cudgel inside this expansion. You just never know sometimes. Because in my deck, I don't put Priest of the Cudgel at all, because like I said, I copied this from Amano Satoshi. With a very slight adjustment with the White Tigers, like I mentioned earlier. And the other thing that probably doesn't really help having a Priest of the Cudgel inside this deck is the fact that it's a little bit unnecessary, because Blackened Scripture takes care of a lot of the cards. Tin Soldier can be used to kind of control. You have Dark Jin, you have Jin, Beacon of Salvation. That's just too many cards that you can use in this expansion to mess with your opponents. And usually in this deck, you would want your evolution point either for Tin Soldier or just for anything else. But you know, Priest of the Cudgel is more kind of like a defensive card, defensive playstyle, so don't, in my opinion, you don't really require it. Yeah, I think from besides that. So now looking at this guy, he's playing red hood, red. What is this? Hot red boots, and then Priest of the Cudgel. Most probably he's waiting for Heavenly Edges, stacking up all the way to turn 9, hopefully just to beat me up with
From the heavens above, justice is delivered.
With Heavenly Ages.
For great justice.
And I think it's still a pretty decent deck, Heavenly Ages, because a lot of people are taking a slower approach in this latest expansion. I don't see as much aggressive gameplay. I think number one is not because they're not popular, but I guess people are bored of it. That's my assumption to this whole thing. Like, they are bored, they keep on saying the same thing, they keep on playing Quick Blader into Palace Fencer, and I think it just gets boring for a lot of people. Okay, give me time to think about this one. Yeah, actually I will do this. Yeah, the calculation, like, if you see, the calculation doesn't require it to think like hundreds of scenarios. I'm just like in the very basic of it all. I'm just thinking of using Taurus the Great and then Pinion Prayer. Straightforward, 5 plus 2 equals 7. That's more than 6. Quick math, man's not hot. Yeah. I wish that he plays this game and then he just do the whole. I'm not even gonna make this sound. Heavenly. Oh shit. Okay. Wow. That's quite. Alright, okay. I mean, like I said, I'm not surprised that people are playing this in all the different ways. But what it does though, is that it confuses me the hell out. Because I have to think right now. Dark Gene is not gonna be good. Divine Birdsong is probably gonna be the best way out of this. 7-8 is such a massive ward. Even if you don't have the effect in your own turn, that doesn't matter, man. Yeah, I'm just hoping for Winged Garuda Sentinel or something like that. Is the 6 cost follower that subtracts 3 from a countdown amulet and then deal 3 damage. That card is broke. Okay, so this is another viable deck that I've seen. You use Moon All Mirage and Heavenly Knight and then Summit Temple. Slower pace compared to Havencroft, but this is another deck that I still can't do anything about this. Well, how unfortunate. Yeah, I can't do anything about this one. Okay, that caught me off guard. But I will actually want to use this deck as well, Moon All Mirage, because I got 3 copies of her from just opening standard pack, I believe. Is it standard? I can't remember from which expansion, but I've got 3 of them basically just from buying the packs. I didn't craft a single one of them. So yeah, this is what I mean by spend your vials wisely, because you never know. There's a lot of playstyles that were introduced in this expansion. Control Bloodcraft looks really fun with the new legendary. Jormungand and Nacht, I think that's how it's pronounced. N-A-C-H-T. I'm just making a guess. Nacht. One of those 2 things, man. But yeah, Jormungand, Nacht. That's a pretty fun game style, more like play style. One of those 2 things. Yeah, man. I think Bloodcraft and Vengeance, like I said, is still. Watch my other video if you haven't. That's when I'm kind of like showing like Vengeance is still very viable in this one. It's just that I was playing it, kind of like when I was still unfamiliar with all the metas that are currently available, so I was kind of like indecisive, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Do I go and drop down my Belphegor now and all these things? But I think that Vengeance is still a pretty good deck, though I think aggro now is stronger. Every time you slow down a temple in one expansion, for some reason aggro will just come in and then just mess up every single thing. I'm surprised that a lot more people are not playing that aggro forest, because I think aggro forest in this expansion is really fun. There's something probably. That's probably the next video I'm gonna do. I haven't mastered Forestcraft because, like I said, I don't quite enjoy counting in my head. This is pretty straightforward though, but I still haven't gotten around to like, do I keep this now or do I play it now? But it's another whole deck that is a bit obvious when you see Fita, Cybele, Zane, Rain, Leafman, and there's one more card, but I can't remember the name of it. Basically, it's a 2-cost follower, and Fanfare give another Allied Forestcraft player follower +1/+0, so it's really aggressive and doesn't require much brain to play, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's another good deck. And this sucks though, because when I'm playing and I'm not and I'm not like doing commentary on my own gameplay, I can't focus. But now I need to think about what I need to say. Maybe this is another learning lesson just for me, because I realize maybe I speak too much. And number 2, maybe I should just talk about the deck that I'm playing instead of talking about other decks. So yeah, lesson learned. You know, I think the first video that I've uploaded to YouTube was like 2 days ago. So pardon me for my amateurish. Yep, I don't know the words, so I just blanked out. So yes, I think for this where I'm at right now, he's obviously playing a vengeance, right, with the Belphegor. He still can surprise me with Vania, can still surprise me with a lot of cards, but I think most likely he's gonna play Scarlet Savior. He's going ham. Are you serious? But oh, okay, he's not going that ham. He's going pretty ham with Savage Wolf.
Hey, check this out.
If I have that Wings Sentinel Garuda, this is pretty much a done. It's over. If I draw Wings Sentinel Garuda, which I don't, of course. I have a very bad luck in this game. If you don't know about me, that's a fun fact. Fun fact. I didn't say fun fact. My God. Fun fact. There you go.
The real battle begins.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, it's only at the beginning of the match, and then
It's flying this way.
the top deck with like I believe 30 cards left. Excuse me. Yeah, 30 cards.